Alright, so this video is supposed to be about equitable access, and the question is, how will you use and adapt resources, standards, aligned instructional materials, and a range of technology, including assistive technology, to facilitate students' equitable access to the curriculum? Okay, I don't want to give too broad or generic an answer to that question, so I kind of highlighted three little spots in the question I just want to touch on, maybe, say something interesting about, perhaps. And the first is standards aligned instructional materials. It really comes down to the things that you need to have aligned are the learning objectives, the instructional activities, and the assessments, right? So if these things are misaligned, then the instructional activities will not fulfill the learning objectives, and the assessments will neither measure how well or if the students have met the learning objectives, nor validate the instructional activities upon reflection. Now, I wrote that, and I understand looking at it that makes kind of confusing. But what it just means is if these things aren't aligned, then you're just stabbing in the dark and wasting a lot of time and confusing everybody because you can't reflect back on something if you don't know what it was coming from and how this matched up with that and so forth. And when it comes to assistive technology, I mean, earlier today I was responding to something from the EDU 6021 class about assistive technology, and I mentioned this app or this website called Storybird that helps children who are really young children, but even all the way up to it's set up all the way up to high school, but helps people write stories who are having trouble. And even though my subject area is English, I actually in elementary school had a lot of trouble with book reports and just like getting started. And since I can't draw at all, it was really embarrassing because they often wanted illustrations. So something like Storybird gives you a lot of templates and things you can experiment with and explore. And I wish that was something that they had when I was in elementary school. And so when it comes to assistive technology and equitable access and helping kids who need accommodations, then the best thing you can really do is just make it like a hobby almost, or just a part of yourself to maintain an active interest in new assistive technology and new technologies. It's not that hard, actually, to kind of force yourself into a hobby or an interest. I mean, almost anything, if you really kind of geek out on it, you can get really interested into it. So that's the best way I can think of, at least. Maybe it's an OCD kind of thing. As far as a good way to help kids with assistive technology is just to keep abreast of what's important and what's still out there. And finally, when it comes to just equitable access in general, I think the most important thing is to treat every student that requires accommodations as an individual. I mean, it's not just like every blind kid works this way and every kid who, can't walk works like this. Now, every kid's going to need something a little different. I mean, obviously, there are going to be similarities, but there's always going to be differences, and you can't just stick them into some sort of pattern and expect that to work. You have to treat them as individuals. And second, I would just say one of the most important things is to do everything in your power to never let money or time hinder the services that the kids actually need. If it's a stupid reason for them not to get what they need. So that's pretty much what I have to say about equitable access. Is money and time should never be an issue, and who the kids' parents are should never be an issue. None of that. It should always just be about the kids, and it takes a lot of time and it takes more money than you have. Well, just find a way. Alright, so that's my video. I've gone over 4 minutes, sorry.